this is Susan from GridBuddy. At GridBuddy, our mission is to make users happy to use the Salesforce platform, which is directly going to correlate with improved data quality. This is, of course, vital to any business. So Salesforce, like any relational data management system, is complex, and editing data in bulk is hard. In this simple use case of editing 3 opportunities and 3 related products, the sales rep has to go through 33 page loads and 42 clicks. This adds up really quickly if you manage multiple accounts with related contacts, opportunities, and tasks. And multiply that by the number of reps, and your company is likely wasting hundreds of precious productive hours every week. So this is why we created GridBuddy, to improve the user experience in Salesforce. It allows the users to see all their related records on one screen, filter it down to show the exact subset of data that they want to work with, and edit it, create new, delete, mass update, and launch the usual processes right from the same grid. So let me show you directly in our demo org. Here I am in Salesforce, but the Salesforce data is shown through a different interface. GridBuddy is a native application hosted on the Salesforce platform, so we don't store or access any of your data. Users just see it displayed differently. They have access to grids through a tab here integrated in their regular sales application. And by clicking here on the drop-down menu, they can select any of the pre-configured views that the administrator usually has configured. So in this case, we've chosen to look at the accounts with related objects view. So here, imagine this as a supercharged list view of all the accounts that I have that are active, say. But on top of that, I can now bring in related records. So in this case, it's been configured to show contacts, contracts, opportunities, and tasks. We support most of Salesforce standard objects and all of your custom objects. So here, let me expand. And now for each account, I can see the relevant information. Again, this is all configurable, so you can choose the objects that you show and also the fields that you're going to display. And the nice thing of the grid is that you can now make all your edits right here. So I'm going to make a few edits on the parent object on the account. I'm going to make some changes here at the child level. I can also add some information, or also I could create in inline any new records. So if I just heard of a new opportunity, say, I can just add it right to my grid here. So I can make multiple changes on multiple records, related records, all on one page, and without having to save every time and doing all the page loads. And again, I can go to the next account here and also make my changes. On clicking the save, it's going to save all the queued up changes, and it's going to respect all your validation rules, all your triggers and workflows that you've already set up in Salesforce. So the other really powerful feature of GridBuddy is the filtering. So here I was just showing a list of all the accounts, but I could also set up what we call the user-defined filters, where the user can define a set of filters that they use the most often, and come in and filter the data according to these criteria. So in this case, I wanted to, for example, see only opportunities that have related opportunities to them. So then again, I can make all my updates, all my changes. Or a nice example I like to show is, well, show me all the accounts that have opportunities that are owned by Madeline. So even if the account is not owned by her, it's just going to show me those subset of accounts where Madeline has some opportunities on them. And Madeline could come here and make all her changes and all her updates again. However, it's also really nice to use the mass update functionality. So once you've isolated the data that you're interested in, then you could come in and mass update it. So for example, a use case I hear often is, oh, well, we have a rep that's leaving and we want to reassign the opportunities that are owned by her. So in this case, let's say, well, we're going to assign all these opportunities to Joe now. and I'm going to apply to all the records. So here, all the opportunities that were previously owned by Madeline are going to be owned by Joe. And again, I'm just going to make one save, and all these changes will be committed to my Salesforce data. So yeah, and then now obviously there's no more accounts showing here because we've reassigned all these opportunities to somebody else. I could also use it to do some exception reporting. For example, show me all the accounts that have contacts on which I don't have any email address. So that would be a nice, for example, a nice grid for the admins to share with their sales reps and tell them, hey, click on this link. Here is the unique URL for this grid, and please come and update the information that's missing in this grid. It needs to be cleaned up. So this is an example on accounts with related objects, and you can see here, you can really imagine all sorts of grids that you could create from all sorts of objects for all sorts of use cases. Here's an example that that has been created by one of our customers and has been used by many of our clients, which is basically the idea of showing all the opportunities in a structured way in one place. So this is a Visualforce tab here that I'm integrating in an application, and this Visualforce tab is bringing in a Visualforce page, which is a tabbed page, and each of these tabs is bringing up a grid of information. So on this first grid, for example, I'm pulling up just a summary of all the open opportunities that we have here in our system. And again, I can do all my changes, my inline create, and and whatever I need to come and change here. So this would be a nice one, for example, if you're reviewing your opportunities before meeting with your manager, want to make sure it's all nice and clean, or even if you're reviewing them with your manager and your manager has some comments, and you want to write directly include them in the grid without having to afterwards go each record and make all the changes that you agreed on with the manager. So again, here I can make all these changes, save once, and then I'm done. I've saved a lot of time. I can also, again, imagine a lot of use cases where the combination of the filtering plus the mass update could be very useful. For example, I hear a lot, about past close dates. I want to see all the opportunities that have a past close dates. I need to update that quickly before my next pipeline meeting. Make sure that that it's all up to date and that I don't have any past dates. Or I could do one at a time, or again, I could use this mass update and say, okay, well, I'm just gonna push them all out to the next quarter, say. Let's apply to all the records here. So there you go. These are just examples of how you can quickly clean up your data and have a good view. Now on these next tabs, it's just basically showing me my opportunities by stage of the sales cycle. So I know again at one glance what I have in each stage of my pipeline and what I need to do or add or create or edit. And here I'm bringing more information, not just the opportunity level, but I'm bringing in also related objects. And I can create inline or add or whatever it is that I need to do on my data. And of course all this is configurable, up to you. Here this was broken down by stages. Some like to see it broken down by close dates. Show me my opportunities this month, next month, last quarter, next quarter. And also you could bring in here, for example, a grid of my tasks, my tasks that are due today or that are overdue. And again, I can see all what I need to do, what it is related to. I can make my changes in line. I can mark it as completed, or I can also log a call that I just made, any activity that I just made, without having to go and look for the specific, in this case, the specific contact and log it to it. So I can just do it here and it will commit it to my data. So there you go. So these were examples of list, sort of like what we call the supercharged list views, or standalone grids that we could make all our updates on. Now I want to show you another example of how to use the grids, and this time it's embedded, integrated into a record detail page. So in this case, I'm going to look at an account page here, the Acme account, and what I've done is created a section on the page layout in which I'm going to pull in again a Visualforce page, a tab Visualforce page, and in each of these tabs is going to point to a related object of this account, of this specific account. So instead of having to go to each one and click edit and see and go into each of these related records, I can very easily just look at all the information here from the grid. And again, I can create new inline if I've just found a new contact, and update everything without having to leave the screen and go somewhere else. Or also the filter might be really interesting. I want to see all the opportunities that are owned by Joe only, for example, without having to look at other people's, or I could also only look at my open opportunities. I'm bringing in cases if this is something that I find relevant as an account manager. I can see what are the important ones, or what are the high priority cases that we're working on at the moment. Another example I like to show is the leads. This is something that you can't really see in Salesforce very easily at all. Is basically pulling a grid of the leads that have the same company name as the account on which I am on here. So it's searching my database and pulling up all the leads that could be relevant, could be important for me. We could also do a search by email address if that was something that could be interesting. So, and again, here I can see who are the leads I'm talking to, what kind of tasks have I already done, and I can actually realize that, oh, absolutely, this Evan actually should be a contact to this account, so I'm going to want to convert him. And here I'm just showing you the what we call the launch, the action pad, where I can again configure a certain number of actions, either out of box Salesforce actions, or anything that that you might have configured, your own Visualforce pages, or anything that you've already set up. So in this case, I'm going to open the out of box convert, Salesforce convert action, and I'm going to decide that Evan actually needs to be attached here, and I'm going to be able to do it right from my grid without having to leave this place and go somewhere else and lose context. And there we go. And now Evan is going to disappear from my leads. And if I look at the contacts page, I should find him here. There you go. So these are all, really good use cases, and you can very easily imagine a lot more use cases on managing, service use cases, or marketing campaigns, account planning. A lot of different implementations can be used with GridBuddy. It's very easy to create new grids or to edit existing grids. For example, here, let me just go and make a little change. Something has changed in my process, in my business requirement. I can just, with a very simple grid wizard, which is a 3-step wizard, I can come in and change my grids or create new ones. So here on the first step, I'm defining that this is going to be a grid from the lead, and I've got all sorts of a bunch of options for managing and giving it more or less power to the users, and I can put it into nice folders. And on the next page, this is where I'm going to actually decide what are the objects that I want to show on the grid, and what are the fields that I want to show. So for example, supposing that the business now actually needs to have a description and, say, a new field that they've just created, then we can very easily add it to the grid here. I'm going to save here my changes. I'm going to refresh my grid, and then immediately I can see the updates, the description, and the next action field. So these were examples that I wanted to share with you quickly. Please, I hope we'll be in contact to find out how we can adapt GridBuddy for your specific needs. But do check us out on the App Exchange. Just type in here GridBuddy in the search, and find out and look at our reviews and find out how and what kind of use cases our clients have been using it for, and are really positive, lovely reviews. A lot of them talk to the fact that it's very easy to install, to set up, and then to use. A lot of people, talk about, having basically no ramp up time. And of course, a lot of productivity savings. So I hope to be in touch soon, and thank you very much for watching. And whenever you want to start testing for yourself, just install in Sandbox a free trial. It doesn't actually expire in Sandbox, so just click here and start configuring some grids. So thank you very much, and speak to you soon. Bye.